Episode 6. We made it here. At the rate we're going, we're going to have to start talking about season 2. But it's a Saturday morning. It's raining. There's nothing else better to do today than coming to work and make another video. I felt like I just had to do another one on the BTRs. After doing Mark's car, which obviously that is a completely different car as a VT Club Sport, essentially the same thing, but I felt like I've done all the other cams, I've done all the other tests, I've checked everything, we've done everything, and I thought, just to make it easier, it's always best to do your testing on the same car. And since we've done all these tests on other brands, other specs, other different cams and so on, I thought we need to bring things into like level. We need to level the playing field, so we're doing the same car. And like I said, in my previous videos, it's not all about finding who's the better camshaft developer and manufacturer. It's just more of a case of finding different camshafts that respond differently with different numbers and so on, and to help you as the customer make your decision, because I think we've covered just about everything. Like if you can't work out by the time you get to the end of this video essentially what sort of camshaft you want for your car, then you're probably getting more confused than I ever have been. Because like I've got to now sit down after this and reevaluate all the cams that we've been using all this time in the workshop, because technology has changed and the development is so much more better now with camshafts that it's a new generation. So it's time to rewrite the book on what we sell, supply, recommend, and it's going to take a lot of thinking. I'm literally going to have to put all of this effort and time into a spreadsheet so I can literally analyse all of the data independently of each other and determine, which is the best cam for low down, which is the best cam for mid-range, which is the best cam for top end, and so on. But, I figured let's just do another BTR. Let's get 4 of the BTR cams that we've been testing. On Mark's car, we originally put the truck Norris in it, and then we tried the stage 1, and then we did the stage 2. But then I've had people come on here saying, hey, try out the RedHot. And I thought, oh, well, if I'm going to do the RedHot, we need to do them all together. So let's go for it. Let's test all 4 camshafts on the same car on the same day within, 3 or 4 hours apart of each other. So we've started off with the truck Norris. No surprise what we've seen there, as we've previously learned from Mark's car. It's a max effort torque camshaft. Like, that thing is an absolute stump puller. Absolutely amazed at how well that camshaft works. However, it is an angry camshaft, so it does have its place as to when you would use it. But then you got the stage 1 camshaft. Very impressive, super smooth camshaft, very nice to drive on the road. The driver experience, overall experience, is really good. And when you look at the average power of it, it's really good. Its average power is as good as any other of all the cams essentially that we've tested, in the sense of what it makes in the bottom and in the top. If you looked at the average of it, it's actually a very good, versatile camshaft. But then what we learnt was, when we went to the stage 2 on Mark's car, that it was pretty much the same in the bottom and it was just a little bit better in the top. But then, yeah, now we've gone to the RedHot. So I guess, I've got all the sound clips in this video of all of them. So you can play them back and forward and analyse for yourself which one sounds the best and so on. You're either looking for a camshaft that sounds meaty, or you're looking for a camshaft that's relatively smooth, but punches out the figures. So, but enough boring talk. Let's get to the dyno sheet. Let's have a look at it. Let's talk about what we think, and let's talk about where I get a little bit sort of, I'm not too sure anymore. So, when you look at the sheet here, this is all 4 camshafts together on the same engine. Now, the results we've got here are very similar to what we achieved on Mark's car, but it does prove that not all cars are the same. And we did get different figures of Mark's. If you go back and watch Mark's video, you will see that the kilowatt numbers and torque numbers they're lower on Mark's car than we achieved on this car. However, this car is a better car to start with in the sense of the baseline. It's a higher baseline, it's a better thing, whether it's got a better exhaust on it, the cylinder heads are working better, or it's just had an absolute flogging of a lifetime. The engine's that loose, it just wants to do what it wants to do. I don't know. But the fact is, we're comparing apples with apples, so it just makes life so much easier now to compare all. You can go back and watch all our other videos and look at all the differences in all the cams, and you can essentially get the idea with an exact back-to-back from the same vehicle. So it's as good as you're ever going to get as a comparison. I don't think anybody on YouTube's ever done anything like this, comparing the same car with multiple different camshafts. So let's talk about it. So there's the baseline, 258, 456 Newton meters. You come to the truck Norris camshaft, no surprises. 282 kilowatts, 504 Newton meters is the highest Newton meter reading of all the cams. Then you move to the BTR Stage 1 V2. So, it's a 217, 230X, 615, 636, 113 on the lobe, 294 kilowatts, 497 Newton meters. And then you go to the RedHot, which isn't really designed for an LS1, but you know what? It works bloody good. So 221, 24X, 619, 617, 113, 301 kilowatts, 497 Newton meters. And then the Stage 2 is a 221, 230X, 624, 636, 112, 302 kilowatts, 499 Newton meters. So, just pause on that and have a bit of a look at that, and let's have a bit of a chat over it all. So, as you can see, the red line here. So, this purple line here, that's the truck Norris camshaft. It is chalk and cheese on all of these camshafts from the bottom, from 2400 revs all the way to, what do we got there, 5,000 revs. It towers on all of these cams. And if you look up here, and that's Newton meters, what do we got there? So 440 Newton meters versus 480-ish, So it's almost 40 Newton meters better than all the other camshafts that we've tested in the sense of the BTR. But then if you look at it back to the stock cam, like goes from, that's 80 Newton meters better off the bottom. If you've got a four-wheel drive, or you've got a hot rod, or you've got something that you got no intentions of revving it past 5,000 revs, and you don't care about top end power, and you are all about the bottom end power and the bottom end torque, then the truck Norris is the cam to use. However, based off its name, it packs a punch and it sounds awesome. It's angry. It's an angry camshaft. You can feel it when you drive it. It is angry through the driveline. It is angry through the whole car itself. The car has got a shake to it. It's got a tough note to it in the back. It's angry, you know it. So are you looking for an angry camshaft that packs a punch? Then the truck Norris is the camshaft you need to consider. But if you're not looking for a camshaft that's super strong, I'm sorry, not so super strong, that's super aggressive and angry, then maybe it's not the camshaft for you. So I guess this is where you've got to talk to us and say, hey, I want a cam that gives us the maximum amount of torque, but I don't want something that's too offensive or rings alarm bells, when I'm driving down the street. I don't want to pay any attention to myself. I don't want the police or, EPA, all that sort of stuff to be looking at me when I drive past, So if they are things of concern, then the BTR truck Norris, you might want to sort of reconsider what you use, because it is an angry sounding camshaft, but it packs a punch when it comes to making torque. If you come across to the Stage 1, which is a bit of a standout for me, the Stage 1 V2, which is this bluey or light bluey colour, not really good with colours, but this light bluey colour here, it sort of is, it's better in the torque department and power than the other two camshafts. And you can see it here, it is slightly better than the others, by about probably sort of 5 to 10 Newton meters. But then as it gets to around sort of 5,200 revs, you can see it just starts to sort of drop off a little bit in the top, And look, you're splitting hairs at this point. Once you get to this area, it's different, don't get me wrong, but, it's not that much noticeable when you think about it in the top end. You're talking 6,000 revs. So if you're on the popper everywhere you go, you're going to want the bigger camshaft. There's no ifs or buts about it. But we're talking about street cars here, not track cars, not drag cars or any of that sort of stuff. We're talking about street cars, people who drive their car on a daily level. And the average person, if you were to put a data log in their car, they would not spend any more than probably 25 to 30% of their time in that RPM range. Unless you're a whacker and you just hold it pegged everywhere you go, then that's not the cam for you. But if you look at it from the sense of average power, drivability, niceness to drive, just overall great experience, jump in it with the kids, the family, the missus, put your grandma in it, whatever. It's a cam you can throw everybody in the car, go for a cruise down the street, do some shopping in it, not smelly out the back. It's quite nice. It's easy to drive. You can put a learner in it to drive it. It works on a standard stall converter, no worries at all. And I probably should add, that the truck Norris also works on the standard stall converter, no worries at all. It's got good, strong engine vacuum, which is great. And so does the Stage 1. I think it was like 63 kPa or something like that. Don't hold me on that, I'll have to double check it, but it's around there. But the Stage 1 is a really good stock converter camshaft, but it also packs the punch of the bigger camshafts that require a stall converter. But if you're a manual transmission, well then none of these are applicable to you because you can just put whatever you like in it. And that's where you probably consider going to the Stage 2 or the RedHot. But if we're talking automatic transmission and stock converters, well, the Stage 1, you can stick that in, you can almost have the rush, or it's going to feel better than the other cams. It's got that little bit of extra torque. It's going to roll off a little bit in the top, but you probably won't notice it anyway. Because if you're not prepared to put a converter in it, then you're really probably not going to be driving that hard anyway. But if you are going to put a converter in it, then you kind of don't look any further than the Stage 2 or the RedHot. Now, I've got a really hard time. I don't know how to give you a recommendation or a reason why you would split the RedHot or the V2 Stage 2 between each other. Like, look at them. You've got the blue line and you've got the, I'm getting confused here, sorry, the orange line. So the dark blue and the orange line, like, have a look at them. They are like, toothpicks apart of each other the whole way. Why would you pick either? I don't know. I absolutely am stumped on this. I'm looking at the engine vacuum at wide open throttle, and based off the numbers I'm seeing, look, I'm probably going to say that I've got to look at it again. So the V2, looking at the V2, I'm probably going to say cylinder heads, better manifold, and the V2 I think is going to be the better cam. I don't know. I am going to do that test, so I will be able to validate this and absolutely confirm. At what point do the RedHot and Stage 2 separate each other? I don't know. I just cannot answer it. I've looked at the engine vacuum at wide open throttle. I can see there is something there with a better manifold, but stock heads, you're going to have to listen to the idle. It's going to come down to how the engine idles and how it sounds, because they both need a converter. You absolutely cannot run them with a stock converter. If you've got a manual transmission, well, you're just going to have to go off sound, which one it is. And if you've got an auto and you're going to put a converter in it, well, man, I don't know. I really can't answer the question. They are both so good, yet their cam specs are so different, you know what I mean? So, you look at the Stage 2, it's a 221, even though it's the same as the RedHot at the start, it's a 230X versus a 240X. Now, I think that's around a 237 something. I think that's a 245. Don't quote me. But if you look at the lift, 619 versus 624, but then there's quite a fair bit of lift difference between the Stage 2, 636, and 617, and only 1 degree difference in the lobe separation. So I guess the big thing is it's a lot different on the exhaust side, and it's certainly got a lot more, one's bigger in the exhaust and one's got more lift on the exhaust. So maybe they are a lot closer than we may think. Dive into it on a cam doctor side of things and look at the numbers in the back end, and they may be a lot similar than it appears in this case. But that's a lot more of a technical video to go down. It's a rabbit hole that's going down the hole. So I'm going to say they both are an equal, draw. They are the same as far as how they work on an LS1. But the RedHot, throw that into a boosted application on a 6 litre and 6.2, and it's amazing. But when we test the Stage 2 in the LS1s, the LS2s and 6 litres, it'd be a different story. So you can see I have absolutely hit my head against the wall when it comes to the RedHot and Stage 2. They are awesome, like 300 kilowatts, almost 500 Newton meters of torque, amazing, really, really good. But if you're looking for an absolute torque monster, the BTR, the truck Norris wins on all of these camshafts. But if you're looking at something you're going to stick a set of cylinder heads on, open it up and really get into it, it's going to be the RedHot or the Stage 2 V2. If you've got no interest in putting cylinder heads on or putting a converter in it, then the Stage 1 camshaft is an absolute box ticker. But, you know, it will work good too with a set of cylinder heads on it, don't get me wrong. But if you're going to do cylinder heads, then the RedHot and Stage 2 is what I would recommend you go for. If you're not doing cylinder heads, Stage 1. If you're not going to rev it and you want nothing but torque, truck Norris. Hopefully that has given you a clearer mindset on what you should be going for based on your power requirements and so on. Big shout out to all the people who've helped, you know, and supplied us with what we needed. All the companies have been great to work with, and as I've said in all my other videos, I am not doing these videos to put these companies against each other, and it's not all about who is better than each other. They are all good. My only probably complaint I could probably say with BTR is that, yeah, they're over the other side of the world in the USA, and yes, they are a dearer a product to bring in, and obviously you've got to bring them in from the USA. So you are paying more money for the BTRs. To bring them into Australia, but you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. If you've got a result, and the result, that's what you're looking for, and it is what it is, and it costs what it costs. But yeah, look, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. This will probably be the last camshaft testing video. There is a lot of other camshafts that we could test, but I think we've covered pretty much from the smallest to not the biggest, but big enough for an LS1. And you kind of get the idea now of they're all very similar and close within, you know, certain points of their range. There are just so many other decisions and reasons why you'd go any other different or any other option. So if you're still not understanding or not sure, you know, just simply give us a call, reach out to us. We've got all this stuff on the shelf. We keep these cams on the shelf, and we can certainly hook you up with the exact cam package and camshaft that is suited to you and your application and driving style. Thanks guys, longer video than normal, so I do appreciate if you made it this long. It's like 16, you know, over 16 minutes or whatever it is, so I appreciate it, and please subscribe, and have a great day. Catch you later, bye.